Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Fresh Thoughts. Today you join me on Warmer Beach, which is basically just one of the beaches near where I live. So I just cycle down here. It's a very nice day, it's nice and sunny as I'm sure you can see, but it is a little bit breezy, so I'm having to hide behind a bush. Today's Fresh Thought is I'm going to talk about self-worth, or like kind of how you value yourself in life. And I think this kind of stems from lots of points in my life. I kind of have these self-doubt moments where I think, oh, I'm not really too sure where I'm going, or I'm not sure if I'm good enough, or the main thing I suffer from is I feel like I don't know enough. I don't know enough about just things to do with my career, or even just social things, I suppose. But for me personally, I think it's so important to realise that to feel like this is just normal. But it's so equally as important to not get stuck on it. But you must realise that this is your base, this is where you start. So you've got to start somewhere. So you start with looking at your skill set, looking at your abilities, and this is kind of your base of where you're going to go out from. You're going to go from here, and you're going to look at where you want to go. You're going to make these goals, like I always talk about, and you're going to kind of grow this tree. So you kind of look at your current self, and that's going to be your root, so to speak, and it's going to be this big tree of all these things that you're going to grow into and flourish and do lots of cool things. But it's important to remember that on your path to righteousness, it's not going to be really smooth. You're going to make plans, and you're going to, however great you feel in the moment, even after you've kind of said, oh, well, I'm really good, I've got these skills, I can do this, I can do that, there are still going to be points in your life where things don't go to plan, or they don't go the way you think they're going to be. So that's important. It's important to kind of prepare yourself for these things. Taking that further, I think it's important to kind of look at yourself, and you look at things that have happened in the past, and you think, okay, well, this happened to me, this didn't work, and this other thing did work, and to kind of look at that and to summarise and to evaluate. You must evaluate yourself and how things have gone, and then you must also potentially pre-evaluate some of the things that you have come up in the future. It's really important that you don't get too stuck. To get stuck on a negative thought, it will just produce negative energy, and I'm a strong believer that negative things happen to negative people, and likewise positive things happen to positive people. And now for me personally, I've blocked lots of negative things out in my life in the past, and some people might think that's good, and some people might think that's not so good. But for me, negative energy drags me down. It doesn't feel great. And an example of that would be if I'm going to go and do like a big corporate gig, and maybe I'm making a promotional video for a company or for an entity. Before I go to that gig, I can look at it in two ways. One way, the camera might mess up, or the SD card might mess up, or I might mess the sound up, or something might mess up. But on the other hand, I might absolutely smash it, and I probably will, right? You have to be confident. So the other hand, you're probably going to smash it, and you're going to do absolutely great, and it's all going to go to plan, and the client's going to absolutely love it. Now there's two ways of looking at that, but this one, the positive one, feels a lot better. To worry too much about this one, this is where like your fear kind of comes in, and it's like, if I'm working quite a lot, when I'm working like 7 days a week, doing lots of filming, going all over the place, things don't seem to worry me so much. I don't really seem to get so apprehensive. But if I haven't done a job for a few weeks, or even a month, or whatever, when you go to do that job, you get nervous. You get nervous that things aren't going to happen, and that's a completely natural thing to feel. Is to have these sorts of nerves, for me personally, mean that you're emotionally and physically invested into the project. To feel no emotion towards something means it just doesn't excite you, or it's just not interesting, or it's just not challenging enough. Now, to challenge yourself in life is so important. To just kind of just plod through and just to do this sort of steady path, it's not that fun. And I think lots of people fall into that trap because it's easy, it's too scary to kind of push the boundaries and try and do something new. It's just not fun. It's just not fun to live like that. And I think to live like that is quite sad, really, because you're not really achieving the potential that you possibly, like your best possible potential. To do a job that you don't particularly find interesting is quite sad, because as I've said in previous content, that you need to thrive in life, not just survive. To just survive it's depressing, I think. And this might not work for you, but this is just kind of, you have to remember this is how I see it and how I think about stuff. So jumping back onto topic, so you're realising your self-worth. To realise your self-worth, you kind of have to know your skill set. And I think it's really important to evaluate, like just keep evaluating things and keep seeing where I'm at and what I'm doing. Once you've got these skills and you kind of know what you want to do, you have to think, oh, well, I want to get here and I want to do that. And you will find that somewhere along the line that you may have to blag a few things. But when I say blag a few things, I don't mean go and single-handedly undertake making a feature film or something like that if you've only ever just done a little vlog at home, because that would be a blag that's a little bit too big. When I say a blag, I mean it's okay to kind of say to a client, oh yeah, I can do that. Like, and it might just be a different type of filming, or it might be another technique that you know that you have time to perfect and practice. And practice is key. Like, practice is something that you need to do with almost everything. You don't get good at riding a bike without riding a bike, you know. Like when I was at university, I would practice a lot. I would take the cameras home. I would just film, edit, and just practice things. There were people at my university that would do like minimal stuff, and they would be striving for perfection in everything they made, and they would only make minimal things every year. And for me personally, their stuff might be fairly mediocre. Occasionally they'll make something really cool, but in general, people that didn't practice and didn't constantly try and perfect and better themselves, it would show. For me, I'm constantly trying things, I'm constantly experimenting, and I think there's also a thing where you can just think about stuff. To think about creation and to think about techniques and to think about practice is as equally as important as actually doing it. Because you can use your brain to develop new skills and new ways of looking at a task and new ways of approaching a topic. And that can be just as interesting, and that can be just as rewarding, and it's as beneficial as actually getting hands on time. Now, I'm not saying don't go and pick your camera up if you want to be a cameraman. You can just think about filming stuff. No, it's all like there's all ways you have to balance it. You have to kind of think, oh well, I'm going to do this, to do this, to do this. Oh, today, like potentially, like the last few days, it's been so windy here that I haven't been able to go out and film. So that doesn't mean that I haven't thought about going to film, and I haven't thought about topics, and I haven't thought about the things I'm going to say, because that's me preparing myself. Because I couldn't go out and go out for a bike ride or whatever, I had to stay at home and just work on things at home. I would then think of this project, or think of other projects, or think of projects that are coming up, and just start mentally preparing myself. And to mentally prepare yourself for things in life is a vital thing, because if you're worrying about all these potential outcomes that may or may not happen, to focus too much energy on things that might not happen, so to invest your time and energy into thinking, oh well, I'm not going to try that because that might not work out, or it's just too scary to even think about change. For me, that's sad. It's sad that people aren't flourishing, and people kind of just are happy to kind of just continue plodding along. And there's so much creativity out there, and so many people. Sometimes creativity is from the most unexpected person, and it's those people that kind of need the help. And it's good to try and help other people as well. To have self-worth, I strongly believe you have to respect other people. And to like respect yourself, for me, what does that mean? That doesn't necessarily mean that you put yourself on this really high pedestal and say, I'm the best of the best and I don't care about anyone else. It means like just getting up in the morning and washing your face and brushing your teeth and just making sure that mentally you're in a good place. Like, to look after yourself mentally. To look after yourself doesn't mean, oh, I'm going out and buying all the latest clothes, or I've got to have expensive cars and I've got to have expensive stuff. That's one way of potentially looking after yourself, but the main thing is to mentally look after yourself, and that's to be mentally healthy. And how do you do that? You set tasks, you achieve tasks, you have to have goals in life. Goals don't need to be huge, and I can't stress it enough that goals don't have to be massive goals like I'm going to go to the moon or whatever. Goals can be little things. Goals can be, I'm going to learn to make this food, this type of food, or I'm going to get up every day at 8:30 in the morning this week because I'm going to do this, or I'm going to exercise. Now, exercise is a key thing. To respect yourself is to look after yourself, and the more you respect yourself, I believe that the more other people will respect you too. People that respect themselves, in my opinion, give off an energy, and energy is like this real cool thing. Like when you're around a positive person, you feel positive, and you should embrace that, and you shouldn't kind of condemn people or judge people for their life choices and the things that they decide to do. Like, so the way I look at it is, why should I let someone else's life choice affect me? If it's a positive thing, great. But if they do something I don't particularly like, why would I let that upset me? Because to them, that's the right thing to do. And I hope that other people look at me that way. I hope other people don't get upset about certain things. And I've experienced it firsthand when people don't. Like, I've got this moustache, and I've had people wanting fights with me because I've got a moustache because they don't like it. Now, to me, I think that's just such a weird thing for someone to do. I just can't even understand that mentality of why would my facial hair upset someone so much that they want to have a fight with me. Like, It's a bizarre thing, and it's times like that that really make me realise that I don't want to be like that, and I mustn't judge people. There's so many things going on all the time, especially now with all this coronavirus. There's so much negativity that we don't need to add to it by these false entities or these false thoughts of thinking we have to judge people and judge other people, because you know what, everyone should just be able to do what they want to do, and if you can work with other people to value yourselves even more, then great, because often the best creativity comes out of collaboration. It's quite hard to do things to the max on your own, and it's important to realise that. It's important to realise that you need people around you, and if you haven't got people around you and you can't, then that's okay. Doesn't mean that you can't become the best person you can possibly be, but it certainly helps. And if you don't have people around you, then it's a perfect opportunity to think, okay, well, how can I get people around me if I want that? Some people don't. Some people like to be on their own. Like, I'm on my own a lot of the time. Like, and a lot of my life I'm on my own, working on my own. I guess it's quite a solitary lifestyle doing the things I do to a certain degree, but it's fine. I get interaction and I collaborate with people as and when I can, and that's really important. Jumping back onto topic and thinking about self-worth. Now, for me personally, I've in my career I've worked with lots of people, and there's lots of different types of people, but the kind of people that stick out for me, that kind of give me negativity, are people like, first one's not so bad. So the first type of person is someone that's really good at something, but they know they're really good at it, and they are a bit of an idiot about it. Now, this type of person, in general, you can tolerate them because they're really good at it, and it's okay, but you kind of have to think, I don't want to be like that. But the worst kind of person is the person that doesn't really know what they're doing, but they think they're great, and they're an idiot about it. And these people they're not interested in learning, and they want to tell you how to do your job and stuff, and this person's just a fool, you know, like they don't give off nice energy. And it's important to value yourself, is for you to realise where your flaws are, and you realise where your skill set maybe isn't, and it's so important to realise that you never stop learning. Now, that's quite an old thing for people to say, but you're constantly learning things all the time. It might not be, I figured out how to use the shutter button on my camera, I know all about shutter speed and ISO, but that's fine. You know a lot of skills, but you don't know all the skills. Like, no one does. No one knows everything, and no one knows like the ins and outs of just every job. Like, it's crazy. You can become a real professional, but that's where practice comes in. You must practice, because practice makes perfect, right? So it's important to just practice everything. If you're not so good at something, think, why am I not so good at it? Where can I go with that? And in this day and age with the internet and stuff, there's so many things you can read and watch videos on how to do things, and just develop yourself and become the best person that you can possibly be. So I think, kind of to summarise the things that we've been talking about. So firstly, you've got to kind of look at where you are and look at your current skill set and think, okay, well, I'm here, I want to get to here. This is my route. I want to grow this massive tree of all the places I want to go, and all the things I want to do, and all the things I want to achieve. Secondly, don't become too big-headed. To become a little bit big-headed is great, because for me, that means you think you know what you're talking about, you're confident with your skills, and that's great. You have to be a little bit big-headed. You have to believe in yourself, because other people just, in general, won't. So you have to believe in yourself. But don't become that fool that no one wants to be around because you're spreading too much negative vibes, and don't think you know everything when you don't. Even when you're working with someone new that might be fresh, like they might be just a fresh person, don't treat them without respect. You've got to respect people. So you're learning things, other people are learning things, and if you can teach other people things, great, but be nice about it. And then the third thing, just enjoy yourself. Like, you have to enjoy everything you do in life. If you get stuck in this like negative rut, it sucks, and lots of people kind of do get stuck on negative vibes and negative energy, and they worry too much about things that have happened to them in the past. And it's fine to embrace things that have happened in the past and think, okay, great, don't forget about them, but use them as your tool to develop your future. You can't change the past, you can change the present a little bit, and you can definitely change your future. So you use your negative things that happen to you, or the negative things, like, you evaluate and think about the negative things that might happen, but don't give them too much energy. Focus on positivity. You've got to be the optimist in the situation. To just get drowned with negativity will just bring you down. So I believe you can do it. I believe I can do it. I think once you get something in your head that you can do something, you can do it. Anyone can achieve anything. At some point, in someone's life they decide to become an astronaut. They become an astronaut. Someone decided to be a doctor. It's literally a decision they made one day. Just one day they thought, oh, I wonder if I should be a doctor. And then they go along that process and they achieve those goals and those tasks and they become it. So I believe you can do it, and you have to believe that you can do it. So yeah, I hope this kind of resonates with you guys. It certainly helps me. It frees up my head a little bit. So yeah, thank you. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.